Good evening, Rajesh.
Hi Jagdish, good evening.
કેમ છો? મજામાં?
All good, all good, all good.
Hi, sir. Hi.
Hey,
Hi
Bharat. Hi.
Bharat.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hi, Dr. Rajesh. Hi.
वाह के लिए रेडी है भरत?
Hi, hi.
Hmm. सुनने
Morning, Dr. Hawkins.
Yes, hello, good evening.
Welcome. Morning for you, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
What time is it there?
9:30 almost
Ah.
a.m. in the morning.
That's not too bad.
No.
Hi, Stephen. Hi.
Squeezing. Hello, Dr. Bharat. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Samir Dalwai sir is just joining in a minute. Hello, sir. Hello, Dr. Hawkins. Hello, Dr. Bharat. Good evening, Dr. Jagdish sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Dr. Jagdish sir, you're sitting with an owl to your right. Wisdom.
That's the way I ensure that I don't fall asleep.
Wonderful. Dr. Bharat, good
Hi,
evening.
Samir. Hi. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Rajesh bhai, welcome. Good evening. Rajesh bhai.
Good evening.
Good evening, Samir. Good evening.
Bhai, कैसे हैं आप? Good evening.
Hi
Good evening,
sir,
Dr.
good evening.
Samir.
Jagdish.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Arubda, namaskar. Good evening.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Good evening.
Dr. Hawkins, welcome.
Ah.
Amruta, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So, Dr. Hawkins, just to introduce you, Dr. Arubda is our very senior pediatrician and somebody who's very academically always with us. That's Dr. Arubda. Dr. Rajesh Chokhani is one of our senior most pediatricians. He's from Mumbai. He's past president of IAP Mumbai.
Yes.
Amruta Shirodkar is the person who's coordinating and helping us with this program. She's also a pediatrician from Mumbai. And the moderator today, Dr. Jagdish Chinappa, is the big boss of all of us. And he's interested in every aspect of pediatrics, but especially pulmonology and sleep as well. And you know Dr. Bharat already. By the way, your name caused quite a upheaval here, huh?
I think he has to unmute himself. Stephen, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you for the introductions. And yes, it is not uncommon for my name to turn some heads, especially having trained at Georgia Institute of Technology. There were plenty of science nerds who were saying, wait a second. But yes, wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for the introductions and thank you for the invitation. It's an honor.
So, yeah, we'll start the program formally. We'll introduce you again, but this was just because some of our seniors and friends were here, so I introduced you. So, whenever they
Wonderful.
give us a and the system will be because you're for the first time, and so is Bharat. Basically, after the introductions, we will begin with the panel. Just the experts are Dr. Bharat and yourself, and Dr. Jagdish and I will be asking some questions. We've made a kind of a flow that we can go through some questions, and we'd like you to keep them in brief because we've asked multiple questions one after the other. So we'll cover the whole thing, and then we have some cases at the end. And there's no particular order. Any of you can take the questions and the cases. So it's completely informal. The only priority is that the audience should, learn or get to hear, and they should benefit. Otherwise, it's completely informal. Dr. Jagdish and I will be just, kind of tossing the ball around, and you and Bharat are free to play as you like. Like I said, the only thing is audience should get the knowledge and benefit from it. That's all we want. Amruta, tell us when to start and whatever. No? We are all ready.
Yes. In a minute. Can you wait for a minute?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
People are joining. You can just put in the Mumbai zones and the other zones also.
Yes, I'll just do that.
Hi, Jagruti.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I'll just call Deepak one more time. I think we should start.
You want me to call her?
Yes. I'm also calling you.
Okay, then you only call her.
Samir sir, can we start?
Yes, absolutely. We should start now. Huh? I think Dr. Deepak will join us in a bit, but we can.
Yeah, so he
start.
said he will join us shortly. He might
Yeah.
get a little late. So, but we can start the session, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Jagdish bhai?
Yes, please. Waiting.
Okay. So, very good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Amruta Shirodkar, and on behalf of IAP Mumbai as an executive board member, I welcome you all to this another session of IAP Mumbai's Zara Hatke, Zara Bachke program, our monthly connect series, which we have been doing for the last few months and discussing a little offbeat topics. So our today's topic is very interesting. It's on pediatric sleep disorders and that we should not sleep over it. We have a very interesting panel with us today, and we have none other than Dr. Jagdish Chinappa sir and Dr. Samir Dalwai sir, who will be moderating this exciting session. So without much ado, I will like to hand over to Dr. Samir Dalwai sir to introduce our esteemed panelists and get the session going. Welcome all.
Thank you very much. And as you can see, the funny parts are already started pouring in the text box. So that's nice. We'd like to keep it nice, entertaining, and very educative and informative. So we are very happy today. Let me introduce first our guest from India, and just because we've got an international panel today. And of course, the topic, as we all know, and you've seen it in the chat box, we are all concerned about lack of sleep, about doctors themselves. But today we are going to talk about the lack of sleep or sleep issues or sleep disturbances in children. And the trouble is that since childhood, my parents used to always tell me, don't sleep so much. How much are you sleeping? When will you study? Wake up, study, sit up late and study, wake up in the morning and study. And I was dozing on the book, already woken up, wake up, pado. And then suddenly now we are moving on to another aspect. We're going to tell people you need to sleep. So this kind of issues that all of us had in our life, I think our guest today, and today for Zara Hatke, Zara Bachke, as always, this is a topic which is a little offbeat. So Zara Hatke, but Zara Bachke, because all of us are getting lots of complaints about children's, not just directly about their sleep, but so many complaints related to child behavior that is now being tagged back to sleep. So we have an international panel today. Let me first introduce Dr. Bharat Reddy. He is, as all of you know, a very well-known pediatrician pulmonologist in India. He has done his fellowship in pediatric pulmonology. Let me just, yeah, pulmonology and sleep. Uh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. He's a consultant pediatric, and he has done his diploma in pediatric respiratory medicine as well. He's a consultant in pediatric pulmonology and a sleep specialist, director at the Shishuka Children's Specialty Hospital, course director and faculty, diploma in pediatric sleep medicine. That's very important because he's running some wonderful courses which you must follow up with him for. And he's a course director and mentor at the IAP NRC Fellowship in Pediatric Pulmonology, multiple scientific publications, and he's an author of a book called A Doctor's Chronicles. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Bharat Reddy, and we are very happy he's here. What Bharat
Thank you, Dr.
has
Samir.
already, yeah, thanks, yeah, welcome Bharat. What Dr. Bharat has also done for us, he's got us an international guest for this topic, and you will be very impressed to know the name of the speaker, and that's Dr. Stephen Hawkins. And welcome, Dr. Hawkins, to India. So, Dr. Hawkins.
Many thanks.
Yeah, welcome. He's a MD from the Medical College of Georgia School of Medicine, and he's done his residency in the University of Colorado, the Colorado Hospital Children's Program. He has done multiple fellowships from the University of Colorado, that's in the Children's Hospital, the fellowship on sleep medicine, and he's before that done his fellowship in pediatric pulmonology also from University of Colorado. So, Dr. Stephen Hawkins, welcome to you, and we're very happy that you're here with us today.
Many thanks. I owe Dr. Bharat this connection and making it all possible through years of collegial and educational opportunities. So thank you all.
You're very welcome. I'm also very happy to have somebody who needs no introduction in any pediatric circle in India, but that's Dr. Jagdish Chenappa. As we all know, he's done his MD in pediatrics from Bombay University, and then he's set up his practice in Bangalore. He's currently the chairman of Pediatrics Manipal Hospital, Bangalore. He's been the past president of the respiratory chapter, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, for many years, and he's a consultant at Child Central, Bangalore. He is also a very well-known entrepreneur. He is a CEO of Bangalore Medical Training LLP. He's a member of the Ethics Committee, St. John's Medical College, and we know that he does stand up for ethics all the time. He's a member of the IEC Manipal Hospital, Bangalore, and the chairman of the Ethics Committee of the Indira Gandhi Institute of Child Health, Bangalore. But all of us know Jagdish as an excellent speaker, as an excellent moderator, and somebody who can get the best out of people. Also, a warm welcome to Dr. Deepak Ugra. And I'm so happy that sir could join us today. It's a very busy day for him as well. Dr. Deepak Ugra is a senior pediatric consultant at the Lilavati Hospital, but he's also the past president of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics, has held multiple posts in the IAP at a very young age, He was the Secretary General before that and the Treasurer before that as well. And then the past and the President of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics, Dr. Deepak Ugra, welcome to you as well. With this, I'd like to also welcome each and every one of you who found time to come for this very important session when you could have otherwise been, guess what, sleeping. But we'll try and keep you awake, and I'm going to hand this over to Dr. Jagdish Chinappa.
Thank you very much, Samir. And I'm really honored to be in the presence of such luminaries here today. And let's start off straight away. I'm going to start alternating the question between Bharat and Stephen, if I can call you Stephen and not Dr. Stephen Hawkins. Let's start off let's set the ball rolling. Bharat, why is sleep important at all? Why makes a big fuss about it? Because because it's part of the child's routine. They sleep, they wake up, they do what they have to do. So why makes a big issue out of it?
So I think to start off with, I just put this in the chat box as well. Sleep is not an offbeat topic. I don't know why we're going on saying it's offbeat, because sleep is the most essential function of your body, right? And it is not something offbeat for us to say, oh, why are we talking about it today? Why do you need to? You can't live without sleeping. That is something which is very essential for us to understand. But with children, coming to children, why we're talking about it so increasingly now is because we're scientifically now understanding the functions of sleep. For a long time, people were just thinking sleep is a period of rest. And we think, okay, you need to rest for sleep. Like Dr. Samir said, oh, I need to rest for some time. I'm sleeping and relaxing. No, but sleep is an active process. And that is something we need to understand, that the function of sleep is active. So where is it active? It's predominantly active in growth and development. We all know that sleep is the main stimulus for growth hormone production. And for children in the early age group, nature has provided infancy with a prolonged period of sleep. If you see an infant who's up to 1 year sleeps actually 8 months. So that 1 year, remember, an infant sleeps 8 months. And why is nature provided that? Is only because growth hormones get secreted at that time. And so growth and development is very essentially happening during these 8 months of sleep in an infant. As we grow older, it plays a very important role in our cognitive function, especially memory and attention. And if we say, why do I need to sleep before an exam? It's because the short term memory that you take in, you learn small things today. Today night you're going to learn something new. But when you sleep on it, this short-term memory to long-term memory. And a lot of our cognitive function of memory and attention is brought about by sleep. Going on to metabolic functions, this is very important for us as adults. A lot of our diabetes, a lot of our hypertension were all labeled for a long time as idiopathic. A lot of chronic cardiovascular disease was labeled as idiopathic. We didn't know the cause. Why did this hypertension occur? Essential hypertension. Why did diabetes occur? Nobody knew. But now, a lot of studies are beginning to show that it is this early sympathetic activity which happens during sleep deprivation, which activates insulin resistance, which activates your cardiovascular system to develop hypertension, and a lot of cardiovascular morbidity also develops because of sleep deprivation in the early stage. So we as pediatricians play a very important and crucial role because sleep deprivation from the pediatric age group is what tracks into developing adult chronic diseases as well. So which is why we need to talk about sleep and understand the function of sleep.
Thank you very much, Bharat. I think you brought out that very important aspect of the importance of sleep. Now I'm going to go to Dr. Hawkins and I'm going to ask him. He mentioned that sleep is important, but how do you look at the quality and quantity of sleep as it varies through childhood? I mean, the child sleeps. How do you assess whether this is enough for the child, whether it is going to be more for the child, less for the child, whether the child is sleeping with a good quality sleep or getting into frequent awakenings, whether that makes a difference? So please enlighten on us on that.
Yes, thank you. And to follow Dr. Barath is always a challenge. He is so well spoken. I will say exactly as he does that so much of what we know and understand is in looking back, is in seeing the troubles that have resulted when there is not good enough sleep. And just to your point, Dr. Yagis, is that it is good enough. The sleep has to be adequate in duration, but it also has to be adequate in quality. And so it could either be that you are not getting enough sleep or the sleep itself is not restful enough. And so, how do we as clinicians come to evaluate whether one is getting enough good sleep? It is because someone is coming to us with a question. But this is exactly Dr. Barath and my point, and our goal is to raise the education, is to spread the word to pediatricians around the world that any particular problem, any issue with growth or development or our autonomic nervous system, cardiovascular system, endocrinologic, weight gain, too much weight gain, etc., any of these issues with any organ system, we need to plant that seed that growth and development occur during sleep. And so, if anyone is coming to us with a question, with a concern that could potentially connect to sleep, we, Dr. Barath and I, are trying to help can make that connection with all of you providers at every level, any specialty, with any interest, clinical interest, but so that no matter what a child is coming to you, that you are at least having that connection, that foresight, that sleep at inadequate duration or inadequate quality of sleep could make that connection.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Bharat, do you think that pediatricians should routinely ask parents about the child's sleep? And are there any simple methods by which you can structure this?
So we did a recent survey of pediatricians in India, where we tried to understand how many pediatricians actually take sleep history and how many of them actually ask sleep questions. And we found that in India, pediatricians, less than 10% actually ask sleep questions. And we published this data in the Indian Journal of Sleep Medicine. And when we asked, why is it that you're not asking sleep questions? One is most of them don't know what to do. So, parent says my child has a sleep problem. That is one of the main reasons they don't want to ask this question. And secondly, we found out that most of them used to presume, at least for a long time, that sleep is not that important for children. So now I think a lot of us are educating ourselves on pediatric sleep across India, and people need to start asking essential sleep questions. We started right at the time of neonatal age group. When we talk about different sleep problems, which we will probably discuss in this session, all starts in the neonatal age group. When a child is coming to you for that regular checkup, 6 weeks, 14 weeks, 10 weeks vaccination, just ask a simple question of, is your child's sleep a problem for you? You need to understand that if a mother or a father tells you that my child's sleep is a problem, it is a very big problem. Because most of the time, parental perception of sleep itself is so low, they themselves don't know it is a problem. But if a parent tells you my child's sleep is a problem, take it very, very seriously. So if there is one question that you can ask, say I can go through a huge detailed sleep history, but one question that you as a pediatrician need to ask every parent is your child's sleep a problem or not? And if a parent says, yes, doctor, my child's sleep is a problem, take it very seriously. It is definitely a serious problem because a huge degree of maternal depression, a huge degree of postpartum depression has been attributed to sleep problems in children. It is infant sleep problems which is causing maternal depression and postpartum depression. And it is only we as pediatricians are going to see it. They don't go back to anybody else. So, yes, taking that basic sleep history of asking a single question of, is your sleep problem there, is essential. So that you can go into a detailed sleep history taking and asking other questions, but it is essential for you to ask this to make these parents' lives very simple. A lot of times, I see parents a lot for sleep coaching and sleep disorder breathing, and I ask them why they've not addressed it till now. And the most common question they tell us is, nobody has asked us if it was a problem till today. We meet a pediatrician regularly, but nobody even asked us if it was a problem. So we also didn't know it was a problem. Now that you're asking me, I realize it's a problem. It opens up a Pandora's box, but you will help these so much. You might say proudly, but a lot of mothers who come to me with actually maternal depression and postpartum depression have recovered because their infants slept finally. And that is a very big difference that you can make.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. I think Samir, you can take over now.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I think you have highlighted the importance of asking a parent for how the child is sleeping. Now, many times there will be different kinds of answers that come in, and there are what are called as stages of sleep. So, Stephen, can you just tell us what are the stages that get, what is circadian rhythm, all this is probably very new for many of our pediatricians, because we don't know very much of the REM, non-REM, how it progresses, how the circadian rhythm takes place, all those things. And whether the sleep is very important during night time or whether daytime naps are good enough, whether sum total of this is more than sufficient. So please enlighten us.
Yes, so I will first speak to where we are at now, where us grown-ups, us adults, where we are now is to hopefully have as little shallow sleep, light stage sleep, in one sleep is the crust of sleep that we have to break through, having hopefully just a few percentage points of the night spent in that lower quality sleep. Then we'll have this stage 2 sleep, which is the middle sleep. A lot happens there in terms of rest and recuperation, but what we are really working towards is the deep sleep. Deep or N3 sleep, delta wave sleep, slow wave sleep. Lots of ways to describe this, and that's for good reason because it is so valuable, it is so restful, it is so recuperative. And during that time is when many of us will think of our bed partner or our child who is in this stage of sleep as a sack of potatoes. That is when we can pick them up and move them around, and we will be trying to check, are they breathing, because they are so passed out. Okay, that is that very deep and recuperative period of sleep. After that is a period of lighter sleep that we will come up into, and we will have REM sleep. Rapid eye movement sleep is an active period of sleep, and we will have that period only for 15 to 20% of our time, and that's going to vary depending on our age, and you will see different numbers for that. And again, that is because we are thinking of this typically from an education, focusing on adults, and then we will trickle down and learn more about that in children. So the first part of this is to know that that is the way that we will go into and through those stages of sleep, and then to remind us that that is one cycle of sleep. That cycle will last about an hour plus or minus 15-20 minutes on either end, and that is one cycle, and then it will begin with light sleep through to deep sleep, end with a period of REM sleep, and then an arousal. Not necessarily an awakening or a full awakening, though that is also is very normal as expected. So again, I just told you that there is going to be all of these stages of sleep, and it will be a cycle of sleep, and then you will have an arousal, a waking up period. That alone is very helpful and very necessary as pediatricians to provide that reassurance to our families and our patients that it is expected to have a period of, yes, going through and waking up. That is an expected period of time. So that could happen every about hour, and that is totally normal. So when a mother comes in and tells me my child rolls over and wakes up every hour, and I say, congratulations, yes, they have a normal sleep cycle. Okay, and so then we will get back to what do we expect our children to do? Starting off, we as neonates will expect them to have much quicker sleep onset and get into REM dream sleep much quicker. And why is that? That is because that REM sleep is a necessary component of growth and neurodevelopment, and they are going to have up to 50% of their sleep. A baby is expected to have closer to 50% of their sleep in dream sleep. And what does that look like for our parents? Our parents will see them grimacing, moaning, making facial expressions, twitching, having little movements. And so a mother coming to me and saying, my child is moving and grimacing, they look sad, they look happy, they're making faces at me. Again, normal, expected. And oh, then they woke up 45 minutes or an hour or a little more than an hour later. Yes, what do we expect a newborn to do? Go through that cycle, wake up, cry, get a diaper change, feed, and then go back into that cycle to have that period. It is not until they are 4 to 6 months of age that they are consolidating that into nighttime and daytime. We all know and expect that a newborn baby has no idea the difference between the sunrise and the moon being up in the middle of the night, waking us all up to feed and get a diaper change, etc. But so that is something that will develop over the first 4 to 6 months as we pediatricians know and understand. But why is that happening? It is that sleep cycle. They have one sleep cycle and then they need to feed. And that development, that ability to grow and maintain growth during longer and longer periods of consolidated sleep is not developed until they are closer to 4 to 6 months of age. And they are still needing 11, 12 hours of sleep over that day, but they're able to consolidate it. And so that is where we will see and have those discussions with families. Well, how often are they awakening? What are they doing when they are asleep? Some of this is expected for their sleep cycle. So, some of this is expected for their sleep stage. Like I say, as a baby, REM sleep is called active sleep, and that is because we see the motions, we see the facial expressions. It is not appreciated when I mention this, but many of us have dogs as pets, and when we see them sleeping, we see them running, we see them dreaming. We can see this in many animals, and so moms don't like this, for example, when I try to compare their baby to my puppy. But it is an example that they have not yet, our babies have not developed that breaking, that separation of that atonia, muscle atonia that occurs during REM sleep so that we do not act out our dreams. Our babies do not develop that again until they are several months of age old. And so I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to try not to just overwhelm.
I can see the passion coming through. I can see
Yes.
how passionate you are about it. Wonderful. Bharat, can you just highlight a little bit about this circadian rhythm, especially in older children? How important is it? Does it really matter at all if the parent tells you my child sleeps for, let's say, 12 hours a day, but he sleeps 6 hours during the day and 6 hours at night? Does it make any difference at all?
Right. So, like Stephen mentioned, like the initial early stages, it takes time for the circadian rhythm to develop. So the baby has their own rhythm, and it's a consolidated sleep that we take into consideration. So even when I calculate what is the total sleep duration, we calculate it as day and night sleep together in the initial 1 year of rhythm. You do take the entire sleep, right from your daytime naps as well as the night sleep, and we add the total duration to tell you what is the total duration my child is sleeping. And we use a particular criteria by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the American Sleep Foundation, which gives us different sleep durations for different age groups. So that probably will share with you, and you just look at online, you'll get it. It's the National Sleep Foundation, which gives you the exact durations for each age group. That's the total sleep duration. We take it over 24 hours, and that's what we consider for calculating sleep duration. So when you come to circadian rhythm, why is that important? Is because of the function that you need to perform during the daytime, right? So of course, the child needs to start understanding the difference between day and night, and that starts getting established between 6 weeks to 6 months. And by the age of 6 months, this becomes very clearly established. What is day and what is night starts getting established in the body. So the child definitely starts sleeping for longer durations during the night and shorter gaps of durations during the day. When Stephen mentioned that word consolidated sleep, right? So just to highlight what that means is that we need this entire stretch of long sleep to happen. When that stretch of long nighttime sleep happens, a lot of these sleep stages which he spoke about has to happen in a particular pattern. We call that as an ultradian rhythm. Just like how you have a circadian rhythm to say day and night, you have an ultradian rhythm that when you sleep, these entire stages pass through a particular pattern. And when it goes through that, you have to have this much REM sleep. You have to have this much non-REM sleep. When all that happens, that's when you get the full benefit of sleep. You can say, I can sleep every 4 hours. I sleep 4 hours, wake up, I sleep 4 hours, wake up. I function really well that way. It doesn't function like that. Your body requires that entire stretch of sleep. So by the age of 6 months, a baby can sleep a stretch of 8 hours to 10 hours through the entire night. And the baby will start sleeping only short durations during the daytime. And this is normal physiology, which is what you need to explain to your parents. That if a baby is not sleeping your 6 hour stretches or 8 hour stretches by the age of 1 year, it is not physiologically normal. Rhythm has not developed. There is other reasons that we as sleep specialists analyze. So by the age of 1 year, a child needs to sleep that 8 to 10 hour stretch without feeding, and that is physiological for a baby by the age of 1 year. So which is why we need to develop this rhythm by the age of 1 year.
Samir, you want to come in, Samir, or?
Go ahead. There are some questions in the chat box.
No,
But
we will take that later. We'll take that
yeah,
at the end. I think there are questions which are a little more advanced than the current conversation. So we take that
Yes,
later.
sure.
Next question which I had, or next query which I had, was regarding what are the factors that disturb the sleep quality. I mean, there are external factors, some internal factors. What are the things that could disturb a child from getting into a proper sleep rhythm?
Oh, and that goes to light. But what kind of light? The first and most important Zeitgeber, the German word telling us about what is entraining our brains and our bodies into a circadian rhythm, is Zeitgebers. And the most important of these is light, sunlight. But as we all know here, we have every example in front of us, especially all of you in India that are trying to go to bed, trying to get sleepy, and you're tricking your brains into thinking that it is still daytime. The melatonin suppressing effect of blue wavelength light is something that none of us are surprised to hear because we work, and then we expect to close our laptop and close our eyes at the same time and be able to fall asleep. But every one of us knows and understands and realizes that no, it takes our brain a while to slow down. To imagine the sun does not go down, it does not flip off like a light either. And just as the sun begins to have that offset, that gradual set into the night, that is the same way that our brains are producing melatonin in response to the diminishing light. But this is to answer your question that what kind of triggers are there? There are phones, there are tablets, there are computers, there's homework that is now online. There is very much this expectation that we're communicating right up until we are asleep. But what does that do? It is tricking our brains into thinking that that it is still daytime. Therefore, we in our caveman evolved, but still very old, unevolved way of getting ourselves to sleep and adjusting to the day and night, we're expecting that oh gosh, we need to be up and collecting and hunting, gathering, and building a safe place in our cave for the night, but we have tricked ourselves into thinking that it is still daytime. And so that is very much a trigger, a concern. It would be the lights that we were constantly surrounded by and that we refuse to put off and turn away before we get into bed. And Dr. Samir, did you have a question? It looked like you were going to clarify. Yes.
So I wanted to ask whether it is purely related to the issue of light and dark, or it's also related to the social engagement. Because what we've seen in our developmental pediatrics practice is that if you see children with autism, there's so much of literature about sleep disturbances, etc., that they don't sleep all night. What we did is we kind of enforce a very good sleep hygiene, and that starts by waking up the child early. And if you wake up the child, say at 7:38, and don't let the child sleep, I'm talking about beyond 3 years of age, and don't let the child sleep till about 8 or 9. Within 15 days to a month, this child's sleep adjustment very well. So we do believe, or is there a role that it's not just the light and dark, but people around you in the caveman age as well were more active and engaging with the child during the day, and then at night nobody's engaging with the day, so the child. So does that also build up the child's rhythm?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it makes me think.
Amruta,
Yes.
Amruta, can you just mute for everybody else?
Dr. Ravindra Gupta, please mute yourself, please. Ravindra Gupta, please mute yourself.
Carry on, carry on. Sorry.
No apologies needed. Yes. So thank you. It's a wonderful question, and it gets to, yes, absolutely. It is nothing as simple as any one issue with sleep. So it makes me think of several examples. My first example is that anytime I try to get a night owl teenager to come up with ways to make their sleep on a more school calendar appropriate alignment, I describe first that sleep is very much like a puzzle. And some of the pieces of that puzzle are much bigger. Breathing. Are you snoring? Are you having sleep apnea? We must address this. Are you having seizures or some other like significant issue? We have to address that. But any puzzle does not have two pieces, two or three pieces. It has hundreds of pieces. And we have to put all of those small pieces together to bring together a decent night, a decent picture of what sleep should look like. And so that means I not only have to try to convince a teenager to turn off the screens 30, 60 minutes before they even get into bed, but they need to not spend all day in their bed. They need to disrupt that association with the bed and any of those other behavioral activities. Your bed is where you go to sleep. It is not where you have meals. It is not where you work and do homework. It is not where you play and have activities and build Lego. It is not all of these things. You get into bed, your brain has this association. This is where I sleep. And so behaviorally, yes, absolutely. Another great example is we have a Colorado researcher who, what did he do over a similar period of time? You say within 15 or so days, you were able to address these with behavior modifications. A Colorado professor took teenage night owls camping. And during that, what did he do? No screens were allowed. And what did he do during the day? You were up, you were active, you were engaged with your population. And what happened at bedtime? When I say bedtime, I mean when the sun is going down. Yes, we had a campfire because we just cooked dinner on it, but everybody was tired. So that gets very much to this idea that first, we were up, we were active during the light of day, we were communicating with our community, we were being active, we were up, hiking, moving, we were not lazing, we were not on the couch, we were not in our bed all day long on a computer or doing something that is very inactive. We were up. And then so that when we at the end of the night, or sorry, at the end of the day and the night was upon us, we had been awake for 16 hours. We had been up and active for this long period of time. Our body had been used during this period of time. Our body was fatigued and ready for sleep, and our brain had been up and thinking and communicating in a behavioral fashion, very much as you say. So it is very much to the discretion of us sleep doctors. We talk about diagnoses of delayed sleep phase syndrome, what I say night owl. And that could be delayed sleep phase, but behavioral reinforced delayed sleep phase, not necessarily a circadian pathology, but simply a behavioral reinforcement, typically negative reinforcement of this night owl effect.
I think that
Excellent
also
question
comes
and excellent
into,
point. You mentioned
yeah.
specifically
Like,
autism. Our children with autism on the spectrum, they do such a great job of getting less sleep than necessary. And so this is exactly what you're kind of getting to. And we've mentioned that there are normal amounts of sleep, but somehow our children with autism and on that spectrum get away with less sleep and are showing us that they can do so much despite not getting those numbers of sleep duration that Dr. Barath and I are typically prescribing. And recognizing recognizing the underlying issue is also very important. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to add a point, Stephen, to what you said, so that people can understand also with teenagers, with respect to this whole cycle, we see that it's physiological for a teenager to sleep late because that is the physiological body rhythm which shifts in a teenager. So it's not necessary that you need to sleep at every teenager has to sleep at 9 o'clock. Their body rhythm may shift to 12 o'clock, right? And it's physiological for that teenager to sleep at 12. The problem happens is that society expects this teenager to wake up at 7 o'clock and go to school and go to college, right? And this is shifting across the world where we're saying that, listen, you're starting school times early, you're starting it too early. We need to start before school times because the rhythm itself has shifted, not only with teenagers, our entire human race, the rhythm has started shifting to later times as well. But teenagers, definitely it is shifted to a different rhythm. So in many of our circadian rhythm disorders, do we really need to treat them? We may not need to shift their sleep rhythm. You may need to adjust the societal way of their functioning. It's only for societal functioning that we need to make all these changes. But if you're sleeping at 12 o'clock and waking up, let's say at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, are you still getting the full benefit of sleep? Yes, you will still be getting the full benefit of sleep as well.
Excellent point. Thank you, sir.
To ask Bharat. Bharat, there are some questions in the chat box, but I wanted to ask this question also.
Yeah.
A lot of the speech, sleep specialists keep talking about sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
They say you need to establish sleep hygiene. And in fact, I looked at Dr. Jody Mendel's recent article, which says that you start establishing sleep hygiene even under 6 months of age. So I want to understand from you what advice you give to parents and on sleep hygiene and how to establish it.
Sure. So let's say, irrespective of ages, the first word which I use is consistency and regularity. For any sleep hygiene, that should be your take home word as the first thing. You may sleep at, like I said, 12 o'clock and wake up at 8 o'clock. You may sleep at these different things. For sleep hygiene, consistency is the most important thing. You need to sleep at the same time. You need to wake up at the same time every single day, whether it is weekday, whether it is weekend, whether you had any issue, right? So that is the first point of any age group. That is what I do in infant sleep coaching, that you need to get this child to bed at 8 o'clock every single day. And that consistency is what you need to talk about in sleep hygiene. The second thing is the regularity, that whether it's weekday or weekend, ensure that nothing else disrupts. You're traveling, you're going to a new country, it's fine. Ensure that you follow the same sleep hygiene or follow the same regularity of sleep. So, irrespective of age, these two words come into your sleep hygiene: consistency and regularity. The third thing for you to remember is, what are you doing before bedtime, right? So is the child doing any kind of stimulatory thing before bedtime? It can be either digital stimulation, it can be caffeinated drinks, it can be any form of excessive physical activity. What are you doing just before bedtime? Ideal sleep hygiene should be to wind yourself down mentally and physically before bed. So in this particular age, make sure that your child has at least 1 hour to 2 hours of winding down from any form of stimulation. Also, being digital stimulation predominantly, or excessive physical activity, or caffeinated drinks. All these forms of stimulation should start coming down as you come closer to the bedtime. Third thing was what Stephen highlighted, is the environment, right? Your place, what you sleep, is only meant for sleep. Messaging should come across very, very early. Right from infancy, I tell them, don't confuse your child's play area with the sleep area. A child's sleep area should be different, the play area should be different. So the child doesn't get confused. So ensure that becomes a part of even the sleep hygiene for older age group, where the environment of sleep is maintained. We cover these three areas: consistency, regularity, winding down of the activities that you do before bedtime, and creating a good sleep environment. A huge chunk of your sleep hygiene gets covered. So I think across age groups, please follow these three groups and counsel on this.
Yeah.
Some,
Can I
there
make
are
a
some,
Yes,
can I
Samir.
make a point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you mentioned the list of reasons for being too stimulated and not being able to sleep, the commonest we see in our practice is the parents come back late. After that, they do all the home the work at home. The mother cooks the dinner, the father cooks the dinner. Hopefully, both of them. Then they have dinner. And after dinner, there is homework.
So, Dr. Samir, talking about the Indian, there have been studies across the world to compare the sleep schedules across India and different parts of the world. See, I think even when first time I and Stephen interacted, he was shocked. He's like, "Why are you sitting in the clinic at 9 o'clock? I'm sitting in the clinic right now. Right? All of us sit in the clinics at 9 o'clock." It's not a common thing for anybody in the US to even hear of this. But we also come into work late, right? But that is not happening for our children. So we are coming into work probably at 9 o'clock, where in the US they're going in at 7 a.m. into practice, right? Question is, how are we going to shift our children's school times? And it's okay if your child is sleeping at 9 o'clock every single day or 10 o'clock every single day because the father is coming and you're doing the winding out late, it's okay. But why are you making the child wake up at 6 o'clock and go to school? That is where the problem lies with how our society needs to start thinking about sleep. If you want the child to wake up at 6 o'clock, then get the child to bed at 8 o'clock.
one
And
quick
right
question.
along those lines, I'm so sorry, I'll pop in and say jet lag. We think of this as not a surprise. We're not surprised when we travel, when we have a vacation, and we go 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 time zones away. And then when we come back home, we recognize ourselves as jet lagged. Why are we then so surprised when we have to wake up at 6 in the morning to go to school, but then on the weekend we sleep in until noon? Gosh, that here in America, that would be spending Monday through Friday here in Denver, Colorado, but then spending Saturday, Sunday in Fiji, and then Monday expecting to wake up on Denver time. No, come on. We must not be so silly. And this is exactly why Dr. Barath and we say that on a big scheme, we need to get our school districts to recognize the importance, the grades that can be improved, better health, better grades, better literacy, etc. If we come up with these later start times to recognize it as a normal physiologic delay in sleep phase that occurs in our teenagers, we need to recognize that and address to it. But on an individual level, then that is why we can come in and say one of the most important things are the outlines that Dr. Barath provided of consistency. Not sleeping in for more than 1 or 2 hours on the weekend is a very good place to start.
a lot of our sleep counseling, which we end up doing, ends up being parenting, because a lot of when you talk about sleep, it's a lot to do with parenting styles itself, right? And a lot of the times when we talk about behavioral interventions, like you said, the father's coming late, he's playing and plays with the child till 12 o'clock. We go back to talking about your parenting style, right? Can you fit in other times when you rather play with your child than their sleep time? Can this message come across to your child that sleep time is important and sleep is a time when it's just not playtime? And can you, as a parent, make time differently? Wake up early, spend time early in the morning, and do that 1 hour in the morning. Can you start going to school with your child? Put in your parenting time there. So a lot of our sleep coaching and behavioral counseling with sleep hygiene ends up being parenting.
Absolutely.
That is very important to include in parenting as well.
Yeah, Dr. Bharat, I think there's a request that your microphone needs a little adjustment. Your
I'll
voice,
adjust. Sure.
the volume keeps changing. Okay, so now quick question I have for you, just a one-liner if you can, is what is the relationship of feeding and sleep? I mean, does the child have to be fed 1 hour before sleeping or just before sleeping? What should be fed? Should it be milk? Should it be something else?
So I'll take that question, Stephen, because I think feeding and sleep coaching is something that I'm very passionate about, because this is changing a lot in India now. Because even the recent study which we published on infant sleep, we showed that most 90% of children in India are being fed to sleep, breastfeeding, or being rocked to sleep. And this is something which is not physiological. So even if I see all the comments, people are very shocked saying, oh, baby's going to sleep 8 hours sleeping. We have never heard of this, right? As pediatricians, we have never been taught this in India, taught this in our medical school. So which is why we find it very shocking. But we need to come back to the physiology of it, that by the age of 1 year, a baby does not require any foods for an 8 to 10 hour stretch in the night time. So this is very clearly proven, and it is clear physiology. We have to learn it. And we have to be convinced that yes, this is not required. So why does the baby basically wake up multiple times in the night is a habit forming behavior, we call as associations. A baby has been taught associate sleep with a particular activity, either rocking or feeding, and which is what we call as an association. The baby does not require the feed physiologically to fulfill any nutrition needs. It is only a habit forming behavior. So, you as a pediatrician have to absorb this and get convinced about this. Because many pediatricians counsel their patients saying this is how a baby sleeps, this is completely normal. The parents know it is not normal. All these parents who come to me for sleep coaching have told me their pediatrician told them that it is okay for the baby to wake up multiple times and feed. This is how a baby should sleep. Absolutely not. And that is where we need to change. I saw another question in the chat box asking, is it an urban hype that these parents are coming for sleep coaching? It is not. The parents are reading more than us. And they're learning more than us on the internet, and they are knowing more about this than us. And all of these parents have spoken to the pediatrician on this and said, I don't think it's normal for my baby to wake up so many times. I've read this up, right? And the pediatrician said, no, no, it's fine. The baby will wake up and feeding is normal. So we educate and be more, more educated than our patients at least, and understand that this feeding is not normal after the age of 1 year.
Thank you, Bharat. Now I think quickly, we don't have much time. We have just another 10 minutes or 15 minutes to go, and we have got Dr. Ugra eagerly waiting to put his point of view. Dr. Ugra, would you like to come in? If you're there?
No, I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying? Good, good.
I put my questions already on the chat.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So now I'm going to quickly ask either of you, what are the common kind of referrals that you get for sleep problems in children? Because we don't have much time, just 10 minutes. You can just outline what are the main problems that you see.
Snoring is number one. That is in large part because I'm a pulmonary doctor, and that is what is becoming easier to spread the word that snoring is not normal. Just because you do not snore as loud as I do, that does not mean snoring is okay. And so that recognition that snoring is not okay, snoring and no one is okay, is normal. So thank you, Dr. Sanjana, for mentioning this. No, snoring. Is it a clue that you have allergies, asthma, etc., that is unaddressed? Perhaps. But to educate and encourage all to be a quiet, mouth closed, restful, not kicking, twitching. So restlessness is another issue that I see quite a bit. So I'm trying to be quick, but noisy, mouth breathing, restless, kicking, tossing, turning are issues that I see most often in the school age children. And then once we get to the teenagers, it is, I can't sleep. I cannot fall asleep. It takes me forever to fall asleep. And that gets back to sleep hygiene and our behavioral reinforced or school schedule reinforced abnormal circadian rhythm.
Thank
So
you.
I also see a large number of genetic syndrome. So that's a take home where every child with a genetic syndrome ends up having sleep issues, either OSA, hypoventilation, circadian rhythm disorders. So as a pediatrician, you need to understand whether it's Downs, Prader-Willi, any genetic syndrome, craniofacial abnormalities, any mild craniofacial syndromic features, they will have sleep issues. So they are one of the most common referrals to our sleep clinics because all our specialists, these are endocrine specialists with obesity, genetic syndromes, they will always have sleep issues.
What about children who have night terrors and keep walking at night, keep screaming at night? Do you see any of those, and what?
Of course. So those are called parasomnias. And so parasomnias are a large class of any kind of funny activity that occurs during sleep, sleepwalking, sleep talking. It could be night terrors, confusional arousals. There are so many abnormal, funny things that we can do. And it's the reminder that we have these terrible movies about killing my spouse when I was asleep when I did it. These are
That's called
activities that
wishful thinking.
remind us. Yes, they remind us that anything that we can do comfortably and routinely during the day, we can do when we are half awake, half asleep. And so that is a reminder that depending on the stage of sleep, depending on the timing of the night, this helps Dr. Barath and I become detectives and figure out what were you doing? Do you remember it? Do you not remember it? That helps us decide what stage of sleep you were in, and therefore we can look and see what disrupted you partially from that
What do you
sleep so that we
say?
can help get to the bottom of it.
But the huger chunk, like I think Dr. Jagdish, what you wanted to say, as sleep clinics, parasomnias don't come in as much as snoring, and which is why pulmonology and sleep are so closely associated. A large of it is related to the airway issues.
Okay, thank you. Now there are some questions on whether you use melatonin for encouraging sleep in children.
So, as sleep specialists, we both have never used melatonin, and it's probably used for very, very specific indications, which is circadian rhythm disorders, especially in children with autism spectrum or ADHDs, where we do have some role of melatonin. In any other conditions, there is absolutely no use of melatonin. So it should be stopped. Please stop using it inadvertently for any sleep issue. Child not sleeping, sedate, that is not the solution. Find out what is the cause why the child is not sleeping and solve that problem.
100%. There's been several questions about medications, sedatives in general, and I agree with that 100%. Not just melatonin because it is so poorly regulated, but any medicine that we are trying to use, whether it's diphenhydramine, antihistamine, etc., it is a clue to us pediatrician that we need to get to the bottom of why they are not sleeping as well.
Remember, melatonin is a hormone. It is actually a hormone. You are just giving a hormone without knowing anything about it. So please don't.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, please.
Let me say this probably about the most difficult children that we find to handle. Children with autism or ADHD. I have seen in my practice, and I have seen children being medicated endlessly with just for the sleep issue. The biggest problem is parents probably need to be coached that if you set up a routine and you put it consistently enough for about 2 to 3 weeks, and the child gets adjusted to it, there is absolutely no need of any medication or to think that there's something going wrong with the EEG in a child with autism at night, so he's not sleeping. There's nothing like that that I've seen in my practice. The biggest tip that you have to give them is everybody is focusing around sleeping time. What to do when the child has to go to bed? Everybody is trying to do that, and that ends up sometimes arousing the child even more. The trick I have seen in my pediatric practice is focus on waking up time. As like Dr. Stephen said a bit earlier, if you focus on waking up the child at a consistent time every morning, especially above 3 years of age, and don't let the child nap throughout the day, especially like I said after 3 to 4 years of age, automatically by evening the child is tired enough. And even children with autism within a month or two completely are on this sleep schedule. But the trick is the first few days he'll give you hell because he's not used to waking up that early and his sleep is not over yet. I mean, he's not satisfied with that sleep. So he'll give you hell for a few days. If you are able to take that and not let him sleep throughout the day, but then let him sleep only at night. The key issue is wake him up at a particular time every day and don't let him sleep till evening. That's what I had to
But
share
Dr.
my
Samir,
practice.
I just a point that I would like to raise is for regular children, this is not recommended.
Yes,
So,
yes.
for example, for children who I see this happening where parents are having issues with night sleep and they try to keep the baby child awake through the day and tire the child with physical activity, do a lot of things so that he'll sleep well in the night, is not good sleep. That sleep is not considered to be of good quality, especially a child who's been tired out and sleeping. We presume they're knocked out, but the quality of sleep may not be good. And the daytime naps have their own function as well, which is why we talk a lot about naps till 5 years, because it is physiological for them to nap, and that nap time has its very individual function. So for adult children, when they come to my sleep clinic and the parents say I'm tiring them out and making going to make them sleep, we tell them not to do it actually for regular kids.
But if somebody is tired and he's still not sleeping, would you not think of something non-physiological there?
So there is a problem. So we need to find out what is the problem and identify the problem. So which is why we say that is a child who needs to be analyzed more detail in a sleep clinic.
Absolutely.
And it's not just a sleep study. We do a lot of other things for sleep evaluation. We go into detailed history about it as well. They need to be evaluated for sure.
Yes, managing expectations is the way I would describe that. Exactly, like managing the expectations for that child, for what is normal and expected of sleep, and so that the family can adjust to recognizing that that child has a different issue going on neurodevelopmentally. This is a lower, decreased expected sleep time, etc. But just exactly to your point.
So I think we're nearing the end of our time now. So I will ask Dr. Deepa Ugra to come in for a minute. Well, I want to definitely see him give what he has learned from this particular program for the last 1 hour. Dr. Ugra? Yeah, I think he's not online as of
Yeah.
now. Are you there, Dr. Ugra?
Yeah,
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Your voice was breaking. I didn't hear it.
no, so
Yeah.
Dr. Jagdish, we still have a few minutes. Nobody
Yeah.
minds if you go up 5 minutes later. So you want to take up some of the questions from the chat box?
No, I can
One
just.
of the most common questions are on associations. So let me just answer that, because I think literally all the chat box is flooded with that same question on how to overcome associations. So we have different techniques of which we do sleep coaching. Over a period of time, we take parents through a journey to understand how to make this child not associate sleep with any particular activity. I'm not saying stop breastfeeding during after 1 year. That is not the recommendation. You will continue breastfeeding till 2 years, but breastfeeding is during the daytime. And the breastfeeding is not associated with sleep. The child should not be clinging onto the mother every time he wants to sleep just to feed. It affects both the mother and the baby. Break that association. Don't break breastfeeding completely, right? But yes, physiologically, we take them through the process of understanding what we call as self-soothing. Self-soothing means every baby can sleep on their own, right? That is natural. You don't need to assist a baby to sleep. Like how Stephen talks about puppies, I also bring up that query saying no child in any kingdom, animal in any animal kingdom requires the parent to assist the baby to sleep. The puppies don't do it, neither do any calves do it, right? So even as human babies, you don't need it. And that is a skill called self-soothing skill. So what we do in sleep coaching, it is a developmental milestone. By 6 months, a baby should develop self soothing skills. So we take them through that journey of developing the self soothing skill without any association. And that is what is called as sleep coaching. So that is an entire journey. I can talk to you a whole day about it, but that is the whole crux of what we do in sleep coaching. It can be started as early as the neonatal age group. We start making them understand you don't need to associate any or any activity with sleep right from a very early age group. So you can start counseling them right from the neonatal age group, feed your baby, but don't put your baby to sleep on your breast, right? Just at that time when the baby is about to fall asleep, detach from the breast and start patting the baby to sleep. So the baby will not associate your breast always with sleep, but you're welcome to feed the baby. So these are small steps that we use to help not sleep and feeding or any association. And we start this at the neonatal age group itself.
Yeah, what about simple things like patting the child or putting the child in a hammock? Can you clear that for us?
Yeah. So it depends on, see, hammock is a definite no because it's a complete rocking situation. And if a study which I'm going to be publishing shows that literally everybody who comes to our sleep coaching clinic have had problem because they started with the Jula. And it's a completely different mindset now. So we need to understand that patting is fine, but you have to choose your sleep coaching technique. So we don't say, let's see, it started off with a Western technique called the Faber technique, where they allowed babies to cry it out. So a lot of people presume that, oh, sleep coaching only means baby cry, 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 and then go to sleep. That is not true. So I always offer the parents different methods. How much crying are you okay with? If you're not okay with a significant amount of crying, can we use only patting as an entity? So it all depends on the parent. So we put it across to the parents saying, how much are you ready to tolerate through the night? And based on that, we devise the entire strategy. But with respect to swinging, rocking, walking around with the baby, these are all very strong associations which will be very difficult to break later. I have 2-year-old babies who are swung still in saris, right? Which is, and
Yeah.
they come at 2 years and say, listen, break this habit now. I said, I mean, it's difficult, but it becomes a tough job. So those things we have to stop. Patting, not much of a problem. So the crux of sleep coaching is how much does it disturb the parent? This activity that you're going to do, this association, how much is it going to disturb the parents' sleep? Remember, the problem is not only the child sleeping. Please remember, make the parents also sleep well. If the parents sleep well, they will be very good parents during the daytime. That is what you want, right? A parent who's not sleeping in the night is going to have a tough time parenting during the day. And our goal in sleep coaching is any activity that you're going to do should not disrupt the parent's sleep. That is the crux of it.
Okay.
So many good questions in the chat. I'm able to answer a few of them here and there, but this has been absolutely wonderful. I will just go ahead and say that this has been such an exciting opportunity. This has been so lively. I love the questions. I love the investment. I really do appreciate this opportunity. Forgive me for that interruption, but again, I know that we're getting close to the time, and I'm trying to answer a few of these on the side.
Just one question which is very specific. Can I ask that, Jagdish bhai?
Please go ahead.
Dr. Prakhar has asked, we have a patient who's 4 years old, weighing 55 kilograms with leptin receptor deficiency, did PhD level 1 severe OSA. It was very difficult to make the patient put the mask and get a titration done. But how can we counsel the patient or parents for regular use of CPAP in such patients and any other way of management? Is that a question you can take?
I think
Absolutely.
it's
And
a
so I
very
hope you
valid
can
question.
see.
Go
It's
ahead,
a
Stephen.
very
Sorry.
valid question. And the question is for anything that involves asking a child to do anything at night that would not be considered natural or ingrained in us. And so that could be, you could take it as simple as I am supposed to wear my glasses when I'm wide awake. That can be a challenge for many of our children, especially if they have sensory processing issues, Down syndrome or autism, etc. And so the desensitization process is very long. It can be quite a long process, but it is all about gradual. And so starting by introducing the nasal cannula, the sleep study equipment, the actigraphy watch, the glasses when they are wide awake, and you can distract them, when you can engage with them, when you can provide attention, positive attention, when you can dance and be so silly and distracting while they are wearing their mask, while they're wearing their nasal cannula, whatever it is, whatever it may be, so that you're not waiting for them to fall asleep and put the oxygen cannula on. We pediatricians and parents know that if we put that on when they are already asleep, it will come off within an hour or two, and the CPAP is the same. And so introducing it, starting it when they are wide awake, distracted, like, oh my gosh, this is okay, this is no big deal. And then we put the pressure on, and then we start to put the mask on when they're drowsy, and we make it a very stepwise process. I hope that I have outlined that here, but
So,
it can
Stephen, we
take.
also, yeah. So in India, we started another technique where we follow a 2-day, 48-hour protocol to desensitize the child in hospital. And I think we discussed this also with Dr. Friedman, where we decided to publish this as well, where we realized that just telling a child take a CPAP mask, which a lot of places do, where they say do CPAP, go home and take it, doesn't work. Publishing a desensitization protocol for Indian patients, which is something which or the doctor who asked the question to understand that the whole way of not non-adherence to CPAP is the way it was initiated. If you do it very well, like what Stephen said, it works really well. Our adherence rate is almost 95 to 100% to CPAP.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Samir, would you want to, Dr. Ugra, any comments from your side?
I just had one. Will it be okay to say in the first year itself, when if the child is growing well, doing good on anthropometry, if the parents are disturbed, we do not interfere with the sleep of the baby?
That is where Dr. Barath and I may have different ideas, especially coming from the different societal expectations for your day, how early it starts, how late it ends. But my point would be that if a parent is coming in and they're saying, my child gets 7 hours and 59 minutes of sleep at night, they don't get 8 hours, they only get 7 hours and 59 minutes. I will then take that full sleep history and make sure that they're waking on their own, refreshed, and that they are otherwise doing well. It is a starting point for that conversation.
As I said, if the parent, right, I pointed out right in the beginning, if a parent comes to you with a sleep problem, it is a very big problem. It is very unlikely that they're going to bring it up themselves because the awareness of it is so less. It's changed completely now, especially in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai. Parents are approaching us saying that we already know it's a problem. So we as pediatricians need to start getting aware because our parents are getting more aware than us.
Thank you, Dr. Bharat. I think both of you were absolutely spot on with all the questions that were put to you. And we learned a lot about how to handle sleep issues in children. And the most important thing is to ask parents whether the child has got a sleep problem or not. So thank you very much. Dr. Samir, you want to conclude?
Any comments from Dr. Ugra, as we would like to give summing it up as a pediatrician's point of view?
No, I was very happy with the flow and answers given by both of them, and especially that the very limited role of the medication, because a lot of pediatricians nowadays have a query about the medication when you use melatonin. It was put in on the chat box also. And practical approach, very nice, Bharat.
Yeah. My only plea to Samir and others is that we should have them again because we have only touched on one aspect of sleep. We have not gone through the intricacies of a lot of things because of lack of time. But I think we went through the problems which most of us face day to day with sleep problems in children. So back to you, Samir.
No, I think that's very well put, and I'm very happy that you could attend and share your thoughts. I think two or three simple points for practicing pediatricians to understand. The first point is that sleep is very, very, very important in children. And second, the awareness about it in parents is also very less. So they may not come up with any history. It's the pediatricians who need to start asking and checking for it. And what I also we learned is that it affects not just it's not just the sleeping time or which affects so many aspects, including growth and development, and so many other parts of the child as well as the parents. So it's a very important aspect. And what we also learned is that behavioral training and parental coaching and guiding the parents, and counseling them and getting them to do something step by step, slowly, it's behavior modification that is probably one of the first mainstays in the management of these disorders. It's certainly not medication. But after doing this, if the child is still not going to be able to comply with it, then you definitely need to look at some pathological problem, and that is where the role of a sleep specialist is very, very important. There may not be one absolutely close to you, but you can reach out for an online consultation, you can connect or write an email, or as a pediatrician you can connect with the sleep specialist and maybe ask your questions or ask the child to or the parents to connect with them directly. But probably after you do the initial part of coaching and counseling the parents, give it a month or two, and if it's still not getting better, then I think you definitely need to consult a specialist and look at some evaluations. I think we've had a lovely evening here and nobody felt drowsy or sleepy, and that's because you had a rocking session. Great answers, Dr. Bharat. Thanks a lot, especially for your precise answers as well as getting Dr. Hawkins. And Dr. Hawkins, it was a pleasure getting to know you and to hear from you. I'm also very grateful to Dr. Deepak Ugra, who, in spite of a very busy schedule, and it's only because we really wanted him to come and he agreed. So thank you so much, Dr. Deepak, for coming. And Dr. Jagdish Bhai, I know we had to try a lot of blackmail to get you here. I shan't specify what that was, but thanks, because when you are around, you make a clinical discussion very lively with pertinent questions. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a
But
great
I'll
night.
just share your number and email ID, Dr. Hawkins. So if there are any questions, people would get back to you. And whoever's still here, please share it with the others who you saw earlier. Please share the name of your book also and the link to it. Somebody would like to get a copy, they can go ahead and do that.
I put in my email and my number. If anybody wants to send me a message on WhatsApp also, please feel free, because I think a lot of doctors still had few questions. So please feel free to contact us on WhatsApp.
Same.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Samir, for having both of us. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
yeah, Samir
Thank you.
Hand it back to IAP Mumbai. Yeah, Dr. Amruta.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Sameer bhai.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. I will hand over now to Dr. Jagruti Sanghvi, who's our treasurer of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics Mumbai branch, and she'll be giving a vote of thanks. Thank you for the lovely session. Dr. Jagruti.
Uh, yeah. So thank you, everyone. And I must say that the sleep session should not be so stimulating. Dr. Samir Dalwai and Dr. Jagdish Chinappa has done a great role in stimulating us as pediatricians to kind of wake up and look at sleep hygiene and sleep coaching as an integral part of our practice. We've also learned today that sleep problems in children are not just phases, but they could be signals sometimes of
Jagruti,
Jagrati got disconnected. Right.
just spotlight her also.
all the attendees who take time out for these monthly connect sessions. Thank you for your engagement, for your thoughtful questions, for being there for us, because you are the reasons sessions like this become more meaningful. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a good sleep today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good
Yeah,
night.
Samir bhai.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night, Sameer bhai.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Samir bhai,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thanks.
So we had almost 185 or 190 we touched today.
Amruta,
190
we
people
can't
who
see you.
joined the session.
Amruta, spotlight yourself. We can't see you.
Yeah, we had about 190 people. That's what she's saying. So we're
Yeah, so I was
joining
just
in.
saying we had almost 190 people who joined today, despite it being a session at 9 o'clock. It was a very good response. Thank you so much to the panelists and the moderators. It was an excellent session.
Great.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Karin sir.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Good night.
क्या ऑफिस है भाई समीर भाई
ऑफिस नहीं है
हाँ ओपी ओपी ओपी
ओपी भी नहीं है
अच्छा
दिल्ली में एक मीटिंग के लिए आया था गवर्नमेंट का, तो इधर होटल में बैठा है और कुछ नहीं, इतना पॉश ऑफिस नहीं है भाई। कैसा है यशवंत भाई?
फाइन फाइन
यशवंत
थोड़ा
जी, गुड
मत बोल
इवनिंग।
क्या है सर कैसे है
हाँ, बस बढ़िया बढ़िया।
कल मिलेंगे वी आर कमिंग ऑन 15th ना
हाँ हाँ, यस यस, मिलते
समीर
हैं।
भाई भी आएंगे
समीर
उधर
भाई,
पटेल
आप कब आ रहे हो?
15 को कहाँ पे?
इधर
कुड़गू कुड़गू
कुड़गू।
नहीं आई एम नॉट कमिंग। मैं नेक्स्ट वीक का बताता हूँ सहीन साहब।
समीर भाई, हाँ बिल्कुल, आप
फोन करता
बताइएगा
हूँ,
ना।
फोन करता
तो
हूँ।
आई
हाँ
वांटेड टू
ओके
टॉक आल्सो ना, है ना।
ऑल
थैंक
राइट,
यू।
नमस्कार, थैंक